Hi, I'm Isabella. My dad is obsessed with reality television, maybe even more so than I am.
She's not wrong.
This is Check Me Boomer, a father-daughter weekly dish on the latest in reality TV. Welcome back.
Welcome.
This is our episode 4. We have a lot to cover this week. Lots of Love Island stuff. We had Casa Amor in USA. We had a lot going on in UK too. And then, of course, we will cover our other weekly shows. Rhode Island Reunion, Part 1, Real Housewives of Atlanta. We have Below Deck Mediterranean. I think you're going to mention some McBee Dynasty in the city. Anything I'm missing, Dad?
I've also got The Valley. It finally got interesting to me. Outlast Jungle, a new show that we'll cover. And then I have my airing of Dad's grievances.
Okay,
great.
So I think we should start with UK since we did just watch the Sunday episode. So it's fresh on our minds.
Yes.
Sunday the 28th.
And it's episode 28.
Yeah. So I think a lot was going on in UK this week. We started with everyone coming back from the sleepover, which now feels like forever ago. And in this latest episode that we saw, they were playing a game called, I guess it was a choice between public tea and
Villa Receipts.
Villa Receipts, yes. So that's just the context of where we are, what we're going to be talking about. I think this week I want to kind of break it down by couples.
Okay.
And do that because there is a lot going on. So
sure.
Let's stay organized in this way. And I want to start with a couple that isn't even a couple, but they're my favorite couple, and it's Jasmine and Lorenzo.
Okay. Soon to be a couple,
I hope so. So we know now that Jasmine is with Kevin, and Kevin actually came back from the sleepover and had a little bit of a connection with Tina, but as soon as he got back, he was all for Jasmine. He was even talking about maybe being exclusive with her. Lorenzo is, of course, still with Yasmin, who was also on the sleepover. So I think that's kind of how Jasmine and Lorenzo kind of maybe, I wouldn't say rekindled fully, but there was a lot of close chatting and flirty conversations while they were both at the sleepover. So I think that's kind of where this all came from.
Right. And you and your mom are fans of Lorenzo. I don't dislike him. It's just a little annoying. He plays it so cool and loose that he won't commit, and he's just keeping his cards close to the chest, as they say in the UK, as opposed to the vest here. But I wish he would just be a little bit more outgoing and make a decision. But I guess that's, each person's entitled to do whatever they want.
I don't disagree with that at all. I do think he needs to make decisions and have opinions, which I think he sometimes lacks, but he's just different. I like him because he's very dry. His sense of humor is very matter of fact. And I think I've mentioned before that Jasmine is my favorite girl. She's not that far ahead of Ellie, but I think she's just a baddie and she's so cool.
Well, no one compares to Ellie, so we can move on and just know that she's the best, as proven by the vote this week.
Yeah, we'll get there. So
I think that Lorenzo sometimes comes across as being aloof, which is not always great, especially when someone is trying to figure out whether you're a couple or not.
Yeah, that's true. Yasmin has definitely mentioned that too. I think in today's episode, she mentioned that she was a little bit upset, and normally when she's upset, she kind of wants her partner to make her feel better, console her a little bit. But she even knows that she said Lorenzo's not really that kind of guy. So for that reason, I do think that he and Jasmine are better suited for each other. They seem like they understand each other's communication styles a little bit better. I think Jasmine likes Lorenzo's very chill manner. And I think that Lorenzo also understands Jasmine. And I think we see that a lot because we've seen Jasmine and Kevin have been having a lot of fights. We saw he told her to chill out after one of the challenges, I think, and she didn't like that. And it's a lot of bickering going on there. Lorenzo has even since admitted that if Jasmine were interested again, he would go for it. Jasmine is the one who's kind of holding it back now. But I think if Kevin and if she and Kevin continue to argue, then I think we have a shot here. And I think that they're going to argue again, considering what she just found out in the game today about what he said to Tina. I don't know what the exact quote is, but he definitely said something about like, oh, I want to be, something about wanting to be in bed with Tina. So I think that we're going to see how that goes, but I'm hoping there's an opening for Lorenzo here. So yeah, that's still a work in progress. We're going to see how it goes, but I do think a lot of people are kind of in on that they want to see this happen. So we'll see. Now, Mika's had a crazy week, right?
Yes.
She has been in a couple of different love triangles. The first one was with Simba and Angie. Mika had definitely mentioned that she was into Simba, and they were able to explore that a little bit more at the sleepover that they went to. They kissed at the sleepover, even though Simba told Angie he wasn't going to kiss anybody, but whatever. So they come back from the sleepover, and Simba decides to ask Mika if she wants to go to the hideaway, to which Mika decides she does not want to do, and Simba freaks out. He goes crazy, which kind of gives Mika the ick. And not only that, but Simba also made this comment towards Angelista about like, oh, I think that God sent you to me.
Right. Bringing in religion and helping him win her over.
Mm-hmm. Which Mika definitely didn't like. So I think that was the last straw for Mika. So at this point, I think Simba and Angelista seem to be solid. They won the heart rate challenge. They both raised each other's heart rates the most. And so after that, she did tell him, you're out of the doghouse now, which I thought was a little bit soon. But whatever. If they're happy, then fine. So.
Well, she's got to have a couple to win. So it could be gameplay.
True. I think maybe that's a little bit true for both of them. Simba then got angry again about there was a dumping where his buddy Chitty and Hallie from the sleepover, they both left and Simba went crazy again. So I think Simba might have some anger issues, but we'll see that play out.
He's just passionate.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, just passion. So then Mika, once she's over Simba, she decides that she's into Samraj again, who, if you remember, they were coupled up initially. So Samraj, the problem is he's currently with Priya. Now, Samraj does not like Priya. He's made that clear to everybody besides Priya. He said on one of the first days they were even talking that he thinks that she has a big ego and he's kind of got the ick from her, like, but not saying any of that to him. So he and Mika are going up on the terrace, having little chats, and then coming back and he's kissing Priya in bed. So I think he's really wanting his cake and having it too. I think over the course of the week, Priya kind of was gathering what was going on, and I think at this point, Priya and Samraj are no longer really getting to know each other, so it's kind of Mika and Samraj at this moment.
Right. So in fairness to Lorenzo, he's flip-flopping too, Samraj, but I prefer that approach because at least he's talking about it and saying things to both of them, and now seems to have committed fully to Mika, at least for the time being.
I don't disagree, but I do have issue with Samraj saying all of these things about Priya without saying them to Priya.
That's fair.
And maybe he didn't have to say exactly what he said, but I do think that Priya kind of had to figure it out for herself. Neither of them really pulled her aside and said, like, hey, I really have feelings for Samraj. I have feelings for Mika. I guess they did eventually, but it wasn't until Priya kind of figured it out on her own that they finally were like, yes, this is what we're doing. So I think Priya's alone right now. I do feel for her. I know she was in the bottom 3 couples, or the bottom 3 girls, but she did not get sent home. So I hope someone comes in for her. We'll see.
I agree. I think that they all take it. Whoever's in the bottom 3 takes it too hard. Someone's got to be in the bottom 3, and it doesn't mean that they don't like you. It's just that maybe they like the other people more.
Yeah, that's a good point. Especially with the girls. I feel like a lot of the girls, you can't, no one's done anything really wrong. So the boys are a different story. But let's go on to your favorite girl,
Ellie.
Ellie. Now, while we're here, I think we should say there was a public vote on favorite girl and favorite boy, and Ellie did get top girl,
Of course.
and Lorenzo got top boy. So they both were very awkward about that, which I guess I can imagine, kind of, but that
I,
was nice to see, I guess.
I think your mom's getting a little jealous because I think Ellie is so great. And any words that come out of her mouth, I just laugh at full volume, out loud. I can't help it. Anything she says. And that's why this week she got so much airtime. It was just great.
Well, I'm also now thinking of, so we kind of started the week with, she was with Tommy at the time. Tommy, Ellie asked Tommy, hey, are you interested in either of the new bombshells that came in from the sleepover? Tommy says, no, I'm not interested in either of them. And then immediately Tommy goes and kisses Hallie right after he said that to Ellie. So Ellie, of course, finds out. She storms out, had one of the best crash outs I've seen in a while just because it was so funny. She goes, you pissed me off again? However you say it. Again?
There's no way we can do it justice. She adds extra syllables, kind of like the one on Below Deck Med. Yes, she can draw out a single syllable word into 5-syllable words.
Pissed me off yet again?
And she's the best at dropping F-bombs. The way she says it, it's just classic. I might have to get a clip of that and make it one of your ringtones.
Yeah, we'll see about that. So Ellie was done with Tommy after that.
Right.
Ellie then started talking to Finley, who came from the sleepover. And I think I really like them together. They're kind of boring right now, but I think it's good for her. She kind of needs that. So I like him for her. I do think when the dumping came around after the sleepover, the options were Hallie and Mika and Tommy and Chitty. And they had to send home 2. And they were obviously going to keep Mika. I don't think anyone wanted to get rid of Mika. Mika even brought up maybe she should leave, but changed her mind pretty quickly. There was voting. So the Islanders voted and decided to keep Tommy. But what was interesting is all of his votes came from only the men. So none of the girls voted for Tommy to stay. And yet he did. So I think it was obvious he should have been dumped. Now, fast forward, he was dumped.
Right.
So
you skipped over the part where the 4 people who were at risk of being booted had to decide amongst themselves, as if that was going to ever happen. You did say that Mika almost voluntarily pulled out on her own, but the other 3 weren't going to cave. So I thought it was good that they finally said, you all should vote. And then Aiden sort of took over and ran the show. But it had to be done. I'm sure production was probably saying, like, guys, let's move this along.
What would have made the most sense was for the girls to vote on the guys and vice versa.
Right.
That would have made the most sense. But he got what was coming to him. He's gone now. So it's all good. I felt bad for Chitty and Hallie, but that's how the show goes. So
yeah, if you come in as a bombshell, the risk is you don't stay. That's why everyone should want to be an OG. And
right.
They have to know that going in, that there's a risk that they won't stay as long. And the whole, I didn't get my opportunity to stay long and develop anything. Okay, that's how it goes.
Yeah. I think we could say the same thing about USA. I mean, a lot of people felt bad for Seoul. But again, that's how this goes. It sucks for them, but that's how this goes. So, anything else about Ellie?
Nope. I might try to seek out whether there's a fan club, but that might be too cringy.
I think you said the same thing last season about Yasmin.
I don't.
Now you don't even remember who that is.
No, I do. She was the kind of alabaster white, giving a little Morticia Addams Family vibes, the long hair, and she just said funny things. But she can't. I don't know that she can hold up a candle to Ellie.
Yeah. Well, I think for me, those are the main storylines. I do want to mention Sean and Lola. They're sweet. They told each other they loved each other, but I also noticed something that I'm not sure if anyone else noticed. The day before they said that they love each other, Sean said in passing that he thinks he wants a test.
He did say something like that, and then when they were playing the game today, public tea or
Villa receipts.
yes, it came out that he said I might have settled a little too early on being exclusive, and they're trying to. Everyone is working on helping him play that down. You must have been joking, but I think that that's going to come up on movie night, and we'll see the real context. I don't
Yeah.
remember him saying that, but I also
I don't
might not have
remember
been
him
paying
saying that
attention.
either, but I definitely made a note of when he said that he thinks he wants a test because I thought that was weird given the timing. I think they're going to probably make it to the end, but maybe they'll have a little blip here and there. And then I have a couple things about Tina and Aiden. She came in the sleepover. She was talking to Kevin, and then when Kevin went back to Jasmine, she went for Kevin's brother, Aiden. And I don't think these two ever were really interested in each other.
No.
She didn't want to kiss him, which I actually loved because that's all Aiden wants is he wants to kiss all these girls. So when she turned that down, I gained a lot of respect for her, but I lost it all when they were playing that game in the fire pit and Aiden's talking about how he still has feelings for Yaz, but there's not really anything he can do about it if Yaz is still with Lorenzo. And Tina got so upset about that, but Aiden had mentioned that like hours earlier. So that didn't really make sense to me, and that ended with them being like, "We're good. Like we don't need to continue getting to know each other." So weird couple, but okay.
Well, and whenever you're done with the couples, I just have a random observation / question.
I'm done with the couples and gonna go into my random observations.
Okay.
So I think that's all I have regarding the couples. I do want to mention all the people we had. 6 people get dumped this week. Sam, Namibia, Chitty, Hallie, Tina, and Tommy. All dumped.
Clearing house.
Clearing house, which they needed to do. And I think I mentioned the favorites were Ellie and Lorenzo. And then the last thing I want to say, and this I think is going to get into our little intergenerational differences. I'm curious. We had a Villa performance this week.
Oh, this is my random topic.
Okay.
Go.
So, BB Rexa.
No earthly idea who she is.
That's funny to me because I was actually thinking, wow, this is the best skit they've gotten in a while. Like, because BB Rexa is known. She's known in the United States. She's just not known to boomers like you.
Okay. No, this was the topic I was going to bring up. I was going to say, what's with this UK music? I've never known anyone to be a star on the show. I always turn to your mother and say, am I supposed to know who this is? She doesn't know. And then it's always the same style music. It's like dance music. And it's not like it's just the women like it. The men seem to know all the words. They're mouthing it as they're doing that slow motion dance, which is so ridiculous. But I was wondering, is it just me and I'm the only one, or your mother and I are the only ones that don't know who these people are? So I'm glad you brought that up.
Well, no, don't get me wrong. BB Rexa she's no Taylor Swift. She's no Beyonce. But she is, I would say, she's known in the United States by at least my generation, I would say. She's definitely got some hits. I normally am not a fan of the Villa performances, and I'm still not a fan. It's not like BB Rexa changed things for me. I think it's boring. I usually don't know who they're bringing in on the UK. I'm trying to remember. I know Neo came in as
Okay,
a performance.
I know him.
And I can't remember if it was USA or UK. If it was UK, then that's the best one they've gotten.
Okay.
But
I'm not familiar with her work, but it looked like she was really singing, because I know that on some of these, I'm convinced they're lip syncing.
yeah, you're obsessed with finding out if someone's lip syncing. I don't really care
I
that
can
much.
always tell. I don't need to check. I know.
So, yeah, I was interested in that because I knew when she came out, I was like, Mom and Dad are going to have no idea who this is. It kind of reminds me of the time that I think I was mentioning to you and Mom about some music festival set list, and I said something about T-Pain. I said, "Oh my gosh, T-Pain is there." You and Mom go, "Who?" I said, "T-Pain? You don't know T-Pain?"
At the time, I didn't. I'm a huge fan now.
Right, right. So, the one thing I did like about BB Rexa, though, is you can tell she watches the show because I love how she called out Simba. She was like, "Simba, treat my girl Angie better." And she called out Jasmine and said, "Jasmine, you're a baddie. Keep doing you." So that was cool, I guess. But that's all I have for you, Kay.
I don't have anything to add.
Okay, so that was all you had. The BB Rexa. All
Yep.
right. Now, Love Island USA. We had a big week. This week was Casa Amor. Now, I'm going to give a little bit of context to kind of what happened, and then I think we should go into the couples, and we'll talk about the recoupling.
Okay. And I have a couple of random things as we go through the couples.
I got a couple too. So the week starts with the whole villa kind of getting ready for the heart rate challenge. And what we don't know is that the boys are all going to be taken away to Casa Amor. The girls are all going to be sat down at the fire pit thinking that the boys are coming out, but really they have this big gift in front of them that opens up, and it's a screen of all their boys at Casa Amor getting danced on by the Casa Amor girls.
Right. And as a reminder, last week we were complaining, where are the bombshells? And then they bring in 6 for the men immediately that night last week.
Well, yeah, to that point, they then decide to bring in 12 men for the girls. 12. Now,
It's got to be a first.
I think it's definitely a first. Now, of course, not all of them could stay. They don't have enough room in the villa for all of them to stay. So the girls were allowed to pick 6 to stay. And then midway through the week, they each villa, Casa Amor and the villa, got a letter from the other villa with all of pretty much every single person kissing someone in or outside of a challenge. So that caused drama. And then, of course, we had the recoupling on Friday night.
Right.
So I think we should start with Casey and Anaya because that was kind of the craziest recoupling of the night, I would argue.
Yes.
So before Casa Amor, I think Casey and Anaya were already kind of rocky. It's very clear they can't communicate with each other. They're not really hearing each other. They're saying different things to their girls. He's saying different things to his boys. I think more so on his side. I think Anaya was being a little bit more honest with him, but we'll come back around to that. So,
but I never thought that they looked like they liked each other. They never acted the way the other couples did. And sure, Bryce and
Trinity
early on didn't act like they liked each other so much, but they obviously evolved, and it's pretty clear that they are into each other. I'll leave it at that. But yeah, Casey and Anaya, I just never thought were a thing to begin with.
That's fair. I mean, they never really showed each other a ton of affection, which I think was a big part of Casey's problem. But now Casey can also be a little bit nicer about it versus calling her a grandma. He really lost me over this whole week. There were so many disrespectful things that he said that just didn't need to be said. You're allowed to not like Anaya. You're allowed to bring back a whole other girl, but just be respectful about it. That's
right, especially when you know you're being recorded.
Right, yes. And now this little fire pit heart rate challenge. We know the boys did not know that the girls were watching, but they also knew that they were being taped and that it was probably going to come back around to movie night. So the way that they immediately acted as soon as they got new girls in front of them, I mean, Casey was going crazy. He's like making out with all the girls, already talking about bringing TT back. I think. So Casey's talking to TT. He decides he wants to explore Sydney for a night, and then he does come back around to TT. Now on the other side, Anaya has this sweet man named Carl. He seems to be really into her. She, I don't think, was ever into him. I think she thinks he's this really nice guy. I don't think she was ever gonna bring him back, unfortunately for Carl. Yet Casey it was just moving so weird in that villa, saying like, "Oh, Anaya and I don't have anything in common." Like, fine, but why didn't you say these things to her?
Right.
So in the end, Anaya stayed single. Casey brought back TT, and then
What's
all
TT short again for?
TT is short for Tiara.
Okay.
And then all hell broke loose. So TT and Casey kind of come in on smoke a little bit.
Love that new saying.
Casey comes in with his head down, and all the girls are like, well, look up, like, be a man, grow up. You're a grown man. You can speak for yourself. They're asking him questions. He's like, not really wanting to speak. Finally, Trinity asks him a question and says, hey, I just curious. You brought up that you and Anaya were the strongest couple over she and Bryce at one point. I don't really know where Trinity was going with that, but TT decides to jump in because KC is not really speaking. So TT's got to jump in and speak for KC. Trinity's trying to tell her, like, I could tell that Trinity's trying to be nice. She's like, girl, I'm not talking to you. Like, no shade. I'm not talking to you. TT does not give it up. So I do think Trinity started to get a little bit more pissed off. And then TT calls Tiara a little girl.
Yeah, that's probably not smart.
No. And then I think I remember Kada saying something like, that is not the way you enter this villa. Anaya said the best line of the whole season is this Bad Girls Club. So in case he's still just standing there quiet, like not speaking for himself.
Would you say that Bad Girls Club is one of your all-time favorite reality TV shows?
I don't think I'd say all-time favorite, but it's definitely a unique one.
That's the understatement.
There are not many other shows where it's just girls fist fighting each other for a whole hour. That show doesn't exist anymore anyway. Okay, so yeah, I don't know what's gonna happen with Anaya. I think honestly it might be time for her to go soon. Casey's not interested in her, and Anaya, she's not gonna be interested in anyone else besides Casey. So that's over. I think Anaya needs to go. I don't like Casey either. I would love for him to go too, but we'll see.
Oh, he's going to stay because that's drama.
Yeah, but public voting. I mean,
Okay, there's a risk.
so they are ridiculous. Zach and Kada, I think these two seem like a nice couple on the outside, but I think deep down there are issues there. Even before Casa Amor, we saw Caleb pull Kada. Zach got all whiny and upset about it. Even Kada comes back and tries to talk to Zach, and Zach's like, I need to talk to Bryce. I need to talk to Bryce. Just so bizarre. Just go ahead.
Right, but she does. I don't want to skip too far ahead, but at some point she said, I like that you're jealous. And so he's getting rewarded for it. And I get it. Some people like some level of jealousy, but he went off a little bit early. They're not a couple. They're not exclusive. So it seems, and it's a game. It's a TV show.
Yeah, well, I especially found it interesting, and I think we even might have mentioned this last episode. I found it especially interesting because Zach is the one who, in the hideaway, he's talking about getting to know another bombshell that doesn't even exist yet.
Right.
So
bad timing.
Thought it was a little bit hypocritical from Zach's end, but I guess they weren't really on the rocks. Like maybe they were a little bit, I don't know, upset with each other, but I don't think they were ever really on the rocks. So going into Casa Amor, I think they were fine. Zach starts talking to Alana, who was then kicked off a few days later for, again, saying racist slurs online. So that's, my God, how many now? But anyway, Zach's talking to her. Zach did kiss her outside of a challenge.
Right.
So,
and was photographed doing so.
So Kada, of course, saw that in the letter. She was all torn up about that. I mean, crying for the whole episode, the whole day. Kada's talking to Che, who I don't think she was ever interested in. I don't think she was ever going to kiss that man. They were never, yeah. Zach and Kada were always going to come back together. Zach still bothers me a lot. I mean, just all his whining. I feel like he's constantly whining about something. It bothers me. I don't know if how many other people feel the same way, but that's how I feel about Zach. I wish better for my girl Kata, but that's not going to happen. She likes Zach. So, moving on. Bryce and Trinity.
Okay.
Not much to say here because I love these two. These are my winners.
I think your mom cried when they got back together.
I almost cried. I don't think I had full tears, but oh my gosh, when they're both in the yellow and he sees Trinity by himself and then he kind of starts running over there and he starts crying. Oh my god, yeah, it was just so sweet. We did see a little blip from Trinity. We saw Trinity kiss Corey in the photo booth, but I do think that that's maybe what she needed to help her realize that she really does like Bryce. So we saw all week both of them crying in their confessionals, saying how much they miss each other.
And I don't think that Bryce is going to hold that against her. I don't think if it comes up, it's going to be brief and dispensed with, and they'll move on.
I think so too. I know that has been an issue in other seasons where someone kisses someone and then realizes immediately after, oh, that's not what I want. I want the person that I was with. But it's still kind of an issue. I don't like it when it's an issue because that's kind of the point of Casa Amor. Like, if Bryce would have kissed a girl and then made him realize I like Trinity better, fine. That's the whole point. So, yeah, I don't think that's really going to be held against her either. I think Bryce is obsessed with her. The matching yellow. I love the matching yellow. I mean, Bryce spoke with Sydney. That was never going to go anywhere. He was obsessed with Trinity. So, they're great. They're my winners. Now let's get to the couple that isn't even a couple anymore, Kenzie and Corbin.
Right. I have some comments not about the couple, but about her.
About Kenzie?
Yes.
Yeah, go ahead.
She is saying things, and I don't know if it's what she's saying, the way she's saying it, a combination. She sounds so dumb. It's just so bad. Like, your mom and I just look at each other. I don't understand it. And then, not quite a couple, but when she talked to Gall, by the way, what is Gall short for? I'm struggling with it. I haven't looked it up yet, but two things. Your mother and I, we thought they looked like each other, like they might be cousins. And then she said afterwards she really likes him, and maybe even in front of him, she said she's always dreamed of having surfer babies. Is that a thing? Is that something that I'm just not familiar with? Surfer babies?
No.
Okay.
What's funny about that is I thought her type was a cowboy. I thought she wanted cowboy babies, but I guess it's surfer now.
Well, I don't know. Maybe surfer babies is a thing and cowboy babies isn't a thing.
It's not a thing. No, she just made that up.
Those are my only random observations about her.
Kenzie is quite the controversial figure, I'd say. I think a lot of people don't like her. I think a lot of people do like her. I have my issues with her, but I liked her a lot during Casa Amor. I think she was, outside of Melanie, I think she was the most rational person in that villa. She saw what Corbin said, that in the heart rate challenge, Corbin pretty much immediately said, I'm bringing another girl back. Kenzie who? Of course that hurt Kenzie, but I love how she responded. She was like, basically for the rest of the time, Corbin who? She was like, I don't even...
Yes, and to give her credit, when she said she was done, I believed her, as opposed to Anaya and Melanie. I never believed either one of them. You're right, all three of them. I knew they would stick with their man, and it wasn't going to work out for at least one of them.
Yeah, I agree with that. I did believe Kenzie more because if you remember, Kenzie was initially into Zach, and once Zach didn't want her, Kenzie didn't speak to him again. So I knew that she wasn't going to go back to Corbin. She wasn't going to be sitting there. So she did end up picking Dylan, even though you mentioned she still wanted to get to know Gall, who Gall ended up with Jen. We're not going to talk about them. I don't have anything to say about them, but...
The only thing I have to say, this might be something we have to cut out, is Jen's cleavage is insane.
You know what? This is funny. I've seen a tweet or something online saying, like, why do I feel like Jen's boobs are getting bigger every episode?
She's definitely picking from the rack. I don't know if eBay is this one or UK, but and no pun intended there. But
Yeah, I was going to say the rack.
she is definitely picking what's showing her assets the best. It's just I can't help but notice it, and I'm sure it's not by accident. So I don't know if it's appropriate or too cringy, but we can always edit that out.
Yeah, well, I want to talk a little bit more about Corbin and how he and Casey are two of the worst men I've seen on the show in a while. If any of you follow our social media accounts, I've made a whole post calling them both coward losers because as soon as they're away from their girls, they got a whole lot to say about those Villa girls, huh? Calling them, oh, these Casa Amor girls are college girls, and the Villa girls are like they're like high school girls, like just for no reason. It's just so bizarre.
Definitely going to be shown on movie night.
Oh,
If
for
they don't,
sure.
I'm going to be a little bit disappointed.
Speaking of movie night, really quick, I know you don't watch After Sun, but on After Sun last night they mentioned movie night is upon us, and we want you to go to our Love Island USA Instagram, and there will be a link for you to nominate clips that you want to be shown on movie night.
Okay, I'll leave that in your capable hands.
Yeah, I don't think I even need to do. I think people already kind of know what needs to be shown. But that I thought was interesting because there have been times where we're watching movie night where I'm like, well, where was this clip?
Right, right. They leave out a lot of things.
Yeah, so, Casey and Corbin are going to get torn up at movie night. I can't wait for that. Wrapping up that point. Oh, you know what was funny that Kenzie did say? I have one quote. When that letter came in and she was in the confessional, she goes, the card stunk. It smelled like ass.
That was good. She does have some of the best sayings.
She's got good one-liners for sure. And so wrapping up those two, Kenzie did couple up with Dylan. Corbin brought back Parmita, who Parmita is gorgeous, by the way.
Agreed.
The best part of the episode was when Corbin came in with Parmita and the entire group of Villa girls go, boo, Corbin, tomato, 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 boo. That was so funny. I laughed out loud.
Is that a thing where if you say tomato, it's like the verbal equivalent of throwing tomatoes?
Correct.
Is that a known thing? Okay.
I guess
Another
that's a
boomer.
my generation
Okay.
thing, maybe. I remember that from SpongeBob, from like SpongeBob being upstage or up on stage, and everyone in the audience is throwing tomatoes at him.
Well, right, but really throwing tomatoes. I didn't know that you could verbally the equivalent of throwing just by saying tomatoes.
Yeah, I thought maybe you'd have a question about that, but yeah, that's what that means. Yeah, that was a great part of the episode. Now, anything else about Kenzie Corbin?
Nope.
How about Melanie and Sincere?
I have a couple of random comments. I think one you're going to already cover.
Go ahead.
Him saying that it's the epitome.
Mm-hmm.
At first I liked your post, open the schools again. But on the other hand, he's saying a word that he's probably read. So I've got to give him credit that he's reading something that at least says epitome in it. The fact that he doesn't know how to pronounce it, he's ahead of someone that doesn't even know that word exists. When he says that, I bet you people turn and look like, what is he talking about? Not just because he mispronounced it, but I have to give him at least partial credit that he knows a pretty decent word.
Okay, well, how about this? Does he get credit for saying, I want to immerse myself in this experience?
No.
Okay. Because I was going to say, I don't think that's the same kind of thing.
The only other comment I had about him was I was surprised to learn that he knows American Sign Language, that he minored in it, but it struck me as a little bit odd that if he minored in it, he said, I think this is A. And it's the first letter of the alphabet. That's like minoring in accounting and not knowing the difference between a debit or a credit, right? It's sort of basic. You should be pretty confident that you know how to do the A.
Well, to your point, I think there have been some people on social media that are like ASL people that have come out and said that's not completely correct. So I can't completely verify that, but I've heard that. So yeah, I think that's another one of his little ploys to get women. One thing I want to say about Sincere, just a random comment. I loved it when Sydney came in and called him Lord Farquaad.
I think she was thinking of something else.
I don't know if she was, because what else would be she be think? I just thought that was hilarious.
I thought she said it as kind of a compliment, but I don't think it is a compliment. It's not as bad as
No,
calling him Shrek, but
if you know who I think I'd rather be called Shrek than
oh,
Lord Farquaad.
okay.
Lord Farquaad is the villain of
Right,
Shrek.
right.
He's the short guy. Like, yeah, so you don't want to be him. I do remember what I was going to say about Sincere. Sincere sucks, yes, but I do have to give him credit, and I know the bar is so low, for not dogging on Melanie the whole time. Like, not talking badly about her, not disrespecting her. Yeah, he disrespected her by kissing Amora a million times and telling her all of what she wanted to hear, which that's his problem. He needs to, like, grow up and be honest with these women and not just tell them all the same exact thing when you're just going to run back to Melanie. I still give him credit for not disrespecting her and like calling her out of her name or anything. I think Melanie was so unbelievably rational in Casa Amor. She was the one telling all these girls like, "Hey, let your guys do it cuz you're watching it now and you know that once you get out of the villa, if they're doing this now, they're going to be doing even worse at the clubs."
Right.
So I love that she said that she was like, "Guys, don't be so upset. This is a good thing that we're finding out this information." Of course, she's talking a big game and then going back with Sincere, so it sucks. But
Completely foreseeable.
yeah, I had more hope for her. I did. I once I saw her kiss Corey too, and it was her decision to kiss Corey, I did have hope. But I do think in the very back of my mind, I was like, she's gonna go back with Sincere. So that's all I really have to say about them. I love that. I do like that she went off on him and told him like how disrespectful it is that you're kissing other girls and biting on her lip. Great, but that it's not really gonna hit when you're still with him. So that's all I have about Melanie and Sincere. The last thing I wanted to say about the couples, Caleb and Jaden, I think her name is. They're cute. I like how Caleb was talking about how he misses the Villa girls. I thought that was sweet. He's like, I don't have a romantic connection with any of them, but I just miss them. And then them all applauding when he came in with his new girl. It's sweet. So I like him a lot. And besides a couple random things.
Go ahead.
All right. Well, there was another quote that I thought was funny when they brought in the boat of all the 12 men and they had it kind of sail by the Casa Amor.
Right.
Bryce looks out there and goes, "Oh my gosh, there are like 6 Corbins." I thought that was so funny. Let's see. We talked about TT versus the Villa girls. I think Parmita came in a little bit on smoke too. I mean, I don't remember exactly what she said, but she wasn't super nice. And the Villa girls were being very nice about her. They were booing Corbin, but they did all say, they said, she's gorgeous. Like, that girl's beautiful.
Right.
Nothing wrong with her.
Right.
He's the problem. So I don't know how these Villa girls and the Casa girls are going to get along. I think it's going to be interesting to see.
We'll find out tonight.
Yes. Yeah. And then the last thing is there's some conspiracy theories online, which I think we've talked about outside of this context, that during that argument between TT and Trinity, it looks like Melanie and Kenzie were removed from the fire pit. So we are wondering, was that argument a little more intense than it appeared? Did it maybe get a little bit... I don't think it would have gotten physical, but maybe Melanie stood up and maybe got a little closer, and maybe they felt that there was a threat of violence, so they removed her and Kenzie. I have no idea what Kenzie did, but that I would like to know, because how come we're able to see all this nasty sucking on toes and all these challenges are disgusting, but they're gonna cut out an argument? That's just not cool, if true.
Right, especially because there's never been a hint of any violence in the seasons I've watched.
Mm-mm.
And you're right. And this goes to my one remaining comment is that the raise the temperature challenge was so lame when they were split up between Casa Amor and the Villa. And I hate the games in general, but it was so raunchy that they couldn't even show all of it. If you notice, they had to cut out and they kept showing the faces and the reactions of the people who were not involved at the time. And your mother and I just kept looking at each other like, oh my God, it's so nasty. Like,
I can't even watch parts of these challenges anymore. Like I like to listen if there's something that like someone says that might come up later, but this challenge specifically where they were competing with the other villa, it was hard to watch.
well,
Very hard
especially
to watch.
if they showed as much foot sucking has been on
Ugh.
USA, think about how raunchy it had to be for them to not show it. And they only hinted at it a couple times. I mean, come on.
And also, what is up with the toe sucking?
I
That's
don't know.
not been a thing on others. This is a new thing, and I think we need to stop normalizing it.
Is that it for USA?
That's all I got for Love Island all around.
Okay, so I'm going to go with airing of grievances. It's a reference to an old Seinfeld Festivus joke because a couple of these relate to Love Island, at least. First of all, the Peacock app user interface is incredibly annoying. Almost every other app, when you go to it, it's resume watching, continue watching, and it goes immediately to the next show. Peacock is if you're not careful, you go to episode 1 every time, and you have to go through these sub menus. I know this sounds pretty cranky, but it's just annoying, and I can't be the only one that's annoyed with it.
I completely agree with you.
The second one, I got tired of listening to this love languages bullshit because I was like, where did that come from? No one said that when I was young, and I decided to do a little digging, and probably people who listen already know this, but I hadn't paid attention to it. It comes from a single guy, not single unmarried. A Baptist pastor and marriage counselor from North Carolina wrote a book. His hypothesis, which that's what it is, it's just a hypothesis or a thesis, is that of the entire spectrum of love, they can all be boiled down to 5, not 6, not 4, 5 different love languages, and that each person has their own primary love language, and that if you respond to your partner in their preferred love language, you'll have a better relationship. That just sounds like a bunch of bullshit to me. So I looked into it, and there's very little science to back it up. There's plenty of studies that have been done that show that none of it is true, that people have a variety of love languages, and the results of speaking to someone in their preferred love language could be explained in a variety of other ways. So I don't know how this became a worldwide phenomenon that everyone knows to ask what's your love language. I just think it's BS. And then
Really quick, I just want to say I think you're taking it a little bit too like I don't think it's a serious like it's not a scientific thing. I
But
think
they treat it like it is.
made
It's in
people
every one of the shows. Every time a bombshell comes in, someone says, "What's your love language?" I'm like, why would anyone even ask that unless they thought it was a real thing?
I think it's just common sense to me. Like, how do you like to show love, and how do you like to receive love? Like, for example, I think mom likes to receive love in acts of services.
Right, but she'd be the first one to say, "I like all of them or none of them. None of them describe
That's
me at
fine.
all."
Yeah,
I
that's
want,
fine.
and that's the point. Is that his hypothesis is everyone has one.
Yeah, that's just not.
This is bogus.
Yeah, that's bogus for sure. But I do think that each type, like, it makes sense to me.
Right. My last two are kind of veering off of the topic of reality television. One, I'm not perfect with grammar, but a lot of the things that are said on the shows catch my attention. One is I seen it. I seen it. That happened a couple times with Sincere. It's I have seen it or I saw it. Okay, so
That
I'm
might be a little bit more AAVE, African American Vernacular
it's not
English.
limited to that because it's on my hunting forum. And then capital I apostrophe S is not a word. You cannot describe ownership of something by saying Bryson I's friendship. That's not real. That is a very common one. Again, I have my own problems with grammar, so I know people in glass houses can't throw stones. Last one, totally random. Self awareness. When you're in the airport, I don't care if you walk slow. if you're walking in front of me, just stay in your lane. Don't walk, don't like meander. If I want to try to pass you, don't like start veering off. Just stay in one straight line so I know how to walk past you. That's it.
Totally. What does the airport have anything to do with reality television?
I just was thinking I'm going to be airing grievances, so I might as well throw this out there.
Okay, yeah, no, that's totally I think that's valid even outside of airports. Slow walkers, stay to your stay on the side or something.
Well, at least stay in one predictable path.
Yeah. All right. Yeah, totally. I'm with you. I'm with you on most of those.
Do you want to mix it up a little bit and go with Outlast Jungle first?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
I don't have any notes on that, but I definitely want to say I really, really enjoyed the show. I think this is what this is the kind of show that Survivor should want to be. And that's no hate to Survivor. I like Survivor, but this is like an actual survival show. Like these people went days without water. They didn't have fire for like 10 days. That's it was yeah, it was really good. It was a lot of interesting human nature stuff.
Right.
There were a couple of girls that I felt really bad for. One girl was on a team with all men, all kind of toxic masculinity men that were telling her that she's worthless, just being nasty to her. That was hard to watch. Yeah, otherwise, great show. I don't think we should share any spoilers.
No,
But
no. But it's on Netflix. We're talking about it in part. We were both watching it, but one of our listeners, a cousin, Pierre, also goes by PA, the goat. He
shout
put in a
out.
request. Sure, shout out. And I only had a couple things. Wow, the way they set up the rules, or the fact that there were so few rules, was really good. It helped create a lot of drama. The fact that no host ever appeared. I think Jason Bateman is an executive producer. I kept hoping that he would come in by helicopter at the end, in part because people said I look like him or act like him. And then it's $1 million, so it's 10 times as much money as Love Island. And then let's see, there were a couple quotes. This kid Brett calling Leah an airhead, I thought was pretty ironic. And there's some just interesting vote outs, and that's about it. But if you haven't seen it, it's worth watching.
Definitely worth watching. A lot of toxic masculinity on this show, but also a lot of really impressive, strong women. That's what kind of kept me in it, was the women. They were awesome. I could never do anything like that. I couldn't even do Survivor, and Survivor's kind of like wimpy nowadays. So yeah, that I do really like survival kind of shows. Throwback to Bear Grylls, loved that guy.
Alone.
I don't really watch Alone
Oh, it's
actually,
worth it.
but I've watched a couple seasons of that with you and Mom. So yeah, I know what that is.
Well, in the pantheon of survival shows, they are alone. There's no camera crew with them. They have to record themselves. They
Yeah.
do get checked on weekly for medical reasons, but they're by themselves, and you could really die out there. And they have an emergency alert beacon, but if something could happen, and that's not going to make any difference.
Yeah.
Okay, what do you want to do next?
Should we talk about RHOA?
Sure.
Atlanta?
Sure. And this week, I actually, I won't say I enjoyed it. I'm still not a fan of the current season, but I did pay attention. There were things that I noticed that were positive.
Yeah, I think my kind of main thing with Atlanta right now is sometimes I just forget what they're even fighting about.
That's what I have in my notes. I can't even remember all the beefs. When they, at the end of the episode, when they're all pointing fingers and yelling at each other, I'm completely lost.
Yeah.
And I don't care.
Well, yeah. K. Michelle. She, I think, unfortunately, has an addiction to plastic surgery. And
Seems
I
like it.
don't say that lightly. I mean, what was the number she said? She said I'm on my 15th ass. Is that
Yes, that sounds familiar.
put the implants down, girl. It's honestly sad. So that was yeah, that's tough. I really don't ever have anything serious to say about the show. I liked Portia teaching Drew how to eat wings properly. I also noticed that Portia's a flats girl. We love that. You hate that. I love
I'm
that.
not a huge flats person, but when she ate those, it reminded me of a friend of mine on the West Coast. She eats wings the same way. There's nothing left. When I mean nothing, there's only bone, not a single bit of gristle. And that's why when Portia pulled that bone out of her mouth, I said, see, that's how Julie does it.
Yeah, I can't do that. I don't like that. I'm going to leave a little bit on there, but I thought it was funny. And Kelly playing basketball in heels, just like a bunch of ridiculous stuff.
The whole basketball game skit was stupid. Just,
Skit.
it was desperate for something to fill the time.
Yeah, and like I mentioned, I at the end of the basketball game when they're all kind of gathering around arguing, clearly Shamia was really upset about something. I still don't really know what it is. Like the Shamia and I think it's Angela.
Yes.
They've lost me. I don't really remember what they're fighting about anymore. So
No.
I'm ready to move on from that fight, and also to the next show if you are.
I did have a couple quick things. One, Angela and her daughter back and forth and having the counselor actually was a good bit of television. I liked that it worked out. And then Pinky, I listened to Bravo Docket again, and they went into some detail about her bankruptcy filings. And usually that results in them disclosing or divulging something that's public knowledge that has not been shown on the show. That's not the case. So I thought that there was going to be a whole lot of tea that came out of it. No. So there's not anything hidden or surprising that I found out. Then I was talking down about Kelly when they were showing her looking at that house and going through the financial consultant and how much money she was spending. And I said to your mom, she's going to be bankrupt too. Mark my words. And then she threw a ringer in it. She threw a spanner in the works. And she said, I'm not going to get this house. Her real estate agent gave her some hard truths, and she said, okay, I've got to button down and stay within my budget. So I thought, oh, wow, okay, maybe I'm wrong. Your mom refers to her as the little bitty one because we couldn't think of her name at the time.
That's cute.
And that's it. That's all I have for Atlanta.
Did you notice that where they were when they were looking at that house? I'm not going to say the exact area that we live in, but
it was close.
It was close.
Okay.
Sure was close. So, I guess that's Atlanta. Should we move on to Rhode Island?
Sure.
I actually didn't. I was surprised. I thought I was going to have more to say about Rhode Island. My first thing is Rula's nose job.
Wow. It's like a ski ramp.
It's like when you watch the Winter Olympics and they have the long ski jump.
Right.
Yeah, yeah.
Some might say that was the before picture. That's bad. But I only wrote down that I'm on Joellen's side in the fight that she had. Your mother was definitely on Rula's side. I thought, how can you be on Rula's side?
Really?
She's like, Joellen just wants attention. I said, no, she just is right and will never back down and wants to prove she's right, like someone we both know. And I didn't think that Joellen was saying anything wrong. I just thought that Rula is Delula, and the people supporting her just don't like Joellen.
Yeah, I generally have noticed myself taking Joellen's side in a lot of scenarios. I also was on her side in the fight with Liz.
Yes.
And this is another kind of I know what this fight started from, and it was that the whole Alicia homeless comment at the little Frank Sinatra thing, whatever. Liz like pulled her hair and whatnot. I know that's how it started, but at this point I kind of again don't really know what they're fighting about anymore. Like, yes, they're bringing these things up, but they're also bringing other stuff up that I'm like, what is that? How is that relevant?
They're vicious. I mean, the back and forth on episode 1, it's going to make episode 2 of the reunion pretty good.
I will say, even though I don't have a ton to say about it, it was one of the better part 1s I've seen in a while.
Agreed.
Oftentimes the part 1s are pretty like kind of setting it up, and they're kind of boring.
Yep.
So I did think it was good. Alicia, I wrote down Alicia told someone to get over herself. Do we remember who it was?
No.
Okay. I also wrote down devil hands. Someone said someone had devil hands.
I don't remember that.
Oh, God, that's going to bother me because I thought that was a good line. I think it was maybe Alicia. Alicia to, it might have even been Liz. Because Alicia and Liz did kind of get into it a little bit again, even though we know they're close.
Right.
They did get into it a little bit. So I think it was Alicia saying that somebody has devil hands. I don't know. Who was really getting into it at the end when we kind of had a cliffhanger? It was RHOA and Joellen again, I think.
Yes.
And Joellen said, "Your husband's a slut." RHOA said, "You sleep with doctors." And that's kind of how the episode ended.
Yes. It almost sounded like RHOA was getting ready to show receipts because Joellen said, "Prove it. Let's see it."
Yeah, I would like to see that proof.
Agreed.
Because Joellen is married, right?
Yes.
So, yeah, that'd be interesting. That's all I got for Rhode Island.
Same.
Okay. I have one thing to say about Below Deck Med.
Okay.
Are you caught up on that?
Yes.
We've got a lot of like hookups going on right now, but the big thing I want to say is they've got a guest right now who is like an all-timer bad guy.
Oh, the one that says, "I'm worth $500 million," and he pays his now ex-girlfriend $12,500 a month.
Yeah, and he shows up and he's immediately nasty as soon as he shows up. You can tell he's like upset that maybe he and his girlfriend got in an argument. His girlfriend ends up leaving the boat. They have to get her on what do they call it? Not the dinghy, but the
Tender.
The tender. They get her on the tender and bring her back to land, and that man's girlfriend, she completely just left. And he is continuing to pick a fight with Nathan, the bosun. Yeah, good episode all around.
Ends with a cliffhanger.
Yeah, so we'll see. We'll have more on that. Oh, and that he also wants to pay a girl from Croatia to come join him. And she's like, "I can't. I have a job." He says, "I'll pay you however much money."
Yes, he says he's on the phone with his lawyer. And what kind of lawyer is working on projects to help him get a girl to someplace in the Mediterranean?
Yeah, I don't know. Well, sometimes these insanely rich people have weird ways of doing things. So I'm liking that season so far. I think it's going to be good. You know, anything with Aisha on it is going to be entertaining.
Yes.
So, anything on In the City?
I didn't take any notes from In the City.
Did you watch it
this
week?
weekend.
Okay.
Yeah, this week, yes.
Well, I thought it was not. I know I don't like Kenny. I've had issues with Kenny. I thought him reuniting with his dad was sweet. I think that Kenny's best friend that they're like getting into arguments with, I think Kenny's friend is jealous of Kenny's girlfriend.
He's definitely got an issue.
Yeah. So that's bizarre. And we also got confirmation that Kyle did cheat on Amanda multiple times. Of course, that's coming from Amanda. But at the time, I think she was still trying to make it work. So I believe it.
There was one he's admitted to.
Oh, yes, for sure. But I don't think he's admitted to everything.
Right.
So she mentioned multiple occasions. So that's In the City.
Want to do the Valley?
Let's do the Valley. I don't have much to say, but
I'll lead with that. I think that it was better this week because there was a lot more drama. They were on a vacation to Mexico, and boy, I do agree in general when they say, "Hey, everyone gets drunk and does things," but Danny is just so annoying. I could not stand to be around him if he was drunk. It would just bother me to no end. I'd rather have someone get really angry like the others do when they get drunk. And then
Zach.
Yes, he's fine. But Janet, I don't, she's a very smart person, but she's just not listening. I think all they want her, and they're not great at asking her for what she should apologize for. She should just say, "I'm sorry for using the term sexual assault," because that carries with it a legal definition, and she's not in a position to determine whether it was or wasn't sexual assault. But she keeps saying, "I'm not going to apologize because he did do those actions." Okay, just say, "I think he did something inappropriate, but maybe I was a little bit aggressive in saying that that's what it was."
Yeah, I agree with that. I definitely see both sides to that argument. I think Danny is very inappropriate, especially when he's drinking. And other people have mentioned that too. So I think that that's legit. But yeah, I do think that Janet could probably butt out of it a little bit more. One thing I did write down was Danny saying that he has PTSD. Now, I'm not going to sit here and say like he for sure does not have PTSD, but I do find it a little bit hard to believe. I think he's using a mental disorder as an excuse, and
It,
I don't think it's legit.
it's certainly going to piss off people who have
Like
PTSD from
yeah, from
being
like
in war.
war.
Right, right.
Right.
At least one of whom I know who would never watch any of these shows
Mhm.
or listen to this podcast, but I think that would irk him at a minimum.
Yeah, I just thought it was a little bit insensitive for, especially considering what he's talking about. That, okay, you were caught being inappropriate with another woman. That's on you.
Right.
So, I do think next episode's going to be interesting. I keep saying interesting, but anyways, because Kristen, in defending Danny and Nia, mentioned that if anybody needs to stop drinking, it's Brittany and Zach. And we see Janet run to Janet and Zach, not to Brittany and Zach, to tell them what Kristen said. So that's going to be drama for next episode. I'm interested to see how that plays out.
Right. I just have a couple of quick things on McBee Dynasty if we're done with In the City.
Yes.
Okay. One, Steven's girlfriend, I think she wants to be on television. So that's why she's the new girlfriend for those who are watching. And then, wow, the current girlfriend and the former girlfriend of the patriarch who's not shown on this season because he's going to prison. He's not yet in prison, but he's not shown on the show anymore. The two ladies are Galina and Masha. And yes, there is Russian ethnicity there. And boy, they go at it. They mess with each other, and it's just getting started. These two ladies. And it's not made up because one has gone to jail twice, and it's just going to get messier. So stay tuned for more.
All right. It's definitely on my list, but
you would have to go back and catch up with 2 more seasons.
I would, and with Love Island right now, it's not the right time, so I'm going to get there eventually.
Okay.
But yeah, I think you're probably going to be covering it a little bit more. I do want to mention we have Big Brother starting soon. I don't think I'm going to cover it a ton, but I will be watching it. So anybody who is also watching it, if you want me to talk about it more, let us know. Send us a DM, send us a message. And that goes for all reality shows. If there's something that you think is interesting, you think we would like, you think would be a fun show to start, let us know. DM us.
Oh, I got a suggestion by another cousin yesterday. She said the 600-pound sisters or 600.
Oh, God.
Because they're from where my cousin lives. I asked if it's current, and she said no, they're on whatever season. So I don't know if you've seen that or not. It sounds like one that I would probably avoid.
There's so much on TLC that we don't really get into that we could, but it's a lot.
Yep. Did we have one more on Bravo, Next Gen NYC? Anything?
Did we not talk about Next
We did
Gen
not.
NYC?
No.
Okay, well, let's talk about Next Gen NYC then.
Okay, I'll start. I'm not a fan of Ava.
Yeah, she's clearly a villain. At least
so
right
far,
now.
So far.
So far.
And then I still like Charlie. Not as necessarily as a person, but for the television show. I do think he's probably becoming friends with what's-her-face's ex-boyfriend because he's wealthy.
For sure. For sure.
And then I think that Georgia is pretty funny. And then one question, I think it was Georgia who was talking about, she heard through the gay grapevine. Is that real? Is that a real thing?
Okay. I've never heard of it before, but I also don't really have a ton of gay friends, so maybe it's a thing.
Well, I loved how production was kind of making fun of her because she was talking about how extensive and you have to keep it to yourself, and she has contacts around the world. It's beyond CIA level. So they're playing all these graphics on the side of her confessional that are just clearly making fun of her explanation of how the grapevine works.
Well, I was trying to figure out if she was even being serious. Like, I thought she was kind of joking.
It's hard to tell with her. She's very deadpan. So she could be just being completely tongue-in-cheek, but if she is, she's got a great poker face.
There was another thing that she said that I wrote down. When she is at this bar talking to a guy that I'm pretty sure she just met, he says, "How are you doing?"
Oh, yes.
She says, I was fighting for my life on the toilet last night. Sorry. Who says that to someone they just met?
Maybe she's trying to run him away.
Maybe. I hope that's what it is. Because what? Oh, also another Georgia thing. This goes back to we're not educated well enough. She doesn't know where Missouri is. She doesn't know where Kansas City is. Ugh. It's bringing me back to the New Hampshire thing on
I think that's
Love
a
Island.
little bit more excusable because Kansas City being in a different state than Kansas could throw someone off.
I get it, but to say the first thing she said was, "I don't know where Missouri is."
Okay.
I get it, it's Middle America, but I would think, I don't know. Am I being too harsh?
She might also have been being flippant.
Maybe, yeah. The other thing that Georgia was saying was she thought that the breakup between Ariana and Hudson was for the cameras. She was saying that openly to everybody else.
Several people, including Ava.
Yeah. So, valid thought, but I think if you've been following the Biermans for a while, you would know that Hudson and Ariana have been on and off since high school. So, I don't think it's just a breakup for the cameras.
Well, and I don't understand what they think is to be gained, because if they broke up, there was a risk that he wouldn't stay on the show.
True.
Because I think that he was only on because of her.
Yeah, and I also think he's maybe, if he wasn't friends with Charlie, I think they would have considered not keeping him on the show.
Could be.
Because he didn't really add much to the show last season besides just being Ariana's boyfriend.
Right.
So we'll see. Maybe we'll see more from Hudson. But I do think Ava is going to be the villain. I'm interested to see how it plays out with her and Gia and Ariana.
Right.
I think they were getting ready to have a pretty significant argument, so I'm excited for that.
And back to me not remembering the names. Candy's daughter, who's off on tour or something. When she comes back, what's her name?
Riley. And I missed Riley this episode. Like,
Right.
She's one of my favorite people on the show. I think she's great comedic relief.
Yes.
I missed her a lot in episode 1.
It'll be interesting to see how she is involved in that back and forth, if at all.
I also am really, really hoping that because Ariana and Riley are such good friends, I need them to bring Candy and Kim back together. Like, I need it to happen. I know it's gotten close. I need it to happen on camera.
You can hope.
You can hope. So, I think that's kind of all we got.
Yep.
I don't think we have much time for a game, but we will definitely make sure to include a game next time. Again, let us know if you have any comments, any ideas for us, any new shows. Please rate and review, and we will see you next time.
Thanks.
That's our episode. Thanks for hanging out with us.
Thanks for listening.
If you like the show, leave us a rating or a comment. It helps more than you'd think. Follow us wherever you're listening and on social media at Check Me Boomer.
And tell a friend who'd get it.
See you next week.